Coming up tonight on YCN News, the Cornish School Board holds an emergency meeting to address record low enrollment. Governor Chris Christie was in the Granite State today in Newport, rallying support for his presidential run. And a champion is crowned in Babe Ruth baseball. Find out who in our sports segment. For more news, weather, and sports, stay tuned for YCN News, bringing you your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, July 28th. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kurt Weedy, and this is YCN News. Well, we start tonight with two stories that we teased last night. The Cornish School Board held an emergency meeting last night to discuss declining school enrollment. This year, only 3 kindergartners were enrolled to begin school in autumn. That's right, only 3 as of July 24th, because 2 families had moved out of Cornish within the last month. After meeting last night, the Cornish School Board voted to allow pre-kindergarten students to join their year-older classmates in one combined pre-K and kindergarten class. Now, the plan is for 10 students to be enrolled in the class, taught by veteran educator Linda Coolidge. Now, of 4 possible ways to solve the problem of too few kindergartners for 1 full-time teacher, option 4 was chosen. Now, this option allows youngsters to go to school in their home district without being sent to another school district and at a cost to Cornish taxpayers. And there will be no cap on the number of pre-K to kindergarten students who can enroll. If more than 10 students comprise the pre-K and kindergarten class, the town may hire a classroom aide to help Coolidge if necessary. Changing the narrative in the town, as resident Sharon St. Martin said, is needed in Cornish. Too much negativity about the K through grade 8 school does not encourage new residents. Some current residents believe. School Board Chairman Justin Ranney spoke to YCN News about the town's school needs and the takeaway from last night's meeting.
We made a positive move here to continue on the kindergarten program. We're adding in the potential for pre-K students to come now into the program. I think that it's just showing that the Cornish is moving in a generally a good direction here. We've got great new staff coming in. Our principal is doing a wonderful job. She's gone in and filled every position we had open. So things are moving forward.
The board's next scheduled meeting is in August on the 17th. Also, new tonight, the Lebanon Co-op Food Market has voted no to unionizing under a Massachusetts branch of a national union after a year of controversy. The Valley News reports that the vote turned out with a 70-31 result against unionizing, which would have only affected the Lebanon store of the co-op system. The vote on the decision to unionize was the ultimate outcome from controversy and turmoil that plagued the store since 2014. In June of that year, 2 employees were fired without any public explanation, and United Food and Commercial Workers Union began to appear as a viable option for the store's employees. It does remain to be seen if last night's vote has brought an end to the UFCW's efforts to offer unionization to the Lebanon Co-op. Well, with Republican and Democratic candidates making the rounds in New Hampshire for the upcoming primary party elections, one such candidate was in Newport today. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who announced his bid just a matter of weeks ago, visited the Salt Hill Pub and spoke to supporters and the press alike. YCN's Lisa Connell was at the event.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie tells it like it is. That's a slogan he uses as he campaigns for the Republican nomination for president in 2016. At least 50 people filled a third-floor room of downtown Newport Salt Hill Pub. Upon entrance, Christie got a standing ovation. Today marks upwards of 13 town hall meetings he has had around New Hampshire. True to his slogan, Christie worked the room, turning around as he spoke to make eye contact with the people and press surrounding him. He spoke on issues key to why he seeks the presidency: immigration reform, the nation's military might and mistakes made by a weak president, citing both Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama. Several times, he invoked the presidency of Ronald Reagan for its resolve and peaceful outcomes. Christie, now in his second term as a Republican governor in a Democratic state, got quickly to the heart of his message. He has the leadership and decisiveness to be president. He slammed Obama on the deal negotiated between the U.S., other nations, and Iran over nuclear disarmament. Christie says some talks need to happen with the public, namely over Social Security. He says he is for means testing and that people with $4 and $5 million in cash assets upon retirement do not need Social Security benefits. Christie says more needs to be done to prevent more illegal immigration, including using drones and cameras at the borders to detect border crossings. Christie peppered his speech with humor when appropriate and drew parallels between his family's college costs while answering an audience question about debt without a job to pay off the debt. Christie spoke for at least an hour and spent another hour answering audience questions, including one about the last Republican president. How do you rank George W. Bush's presidency? Is that going to be a hindrance in your race?
No, it won't be. I'm proud to have been a member of President Bush's administration as a U.S. attorney for 7 years, and I'm proud of the service that he gave to our country. And so I would never see President Bush as a hindrance. I don't. I like him personally, and I respect him as a leader, and I'm proud to have been a member of his administration.
What about the Middle East affairs,
though? I'm not going to get into going through a step-by-step critique of his presidency, but I've told you my overall view. I'm proud to have been a member of his administration. I'm proud to be his friend personally, and I think he served our country extraordinarily well.
In the end, Christie asked all who attended for their vote for him in February 2016, when the first in the nation presidential primary vote will happen in New Hampshire. For YCN News, I'm Lisa Cornell.
And of course, YCN will keep you updated on the campaign trails of presidential candidates as they visit the Granite State. Well, coming up next on YCN News, have you lived in Hartford, Vermont since the 1950s? Well, if so, town officials need your help. Stay tuned to find out why.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News, everyone. Thank you for staying with us on this Tuesday evening. I'm Kurt Weedy. Vermont State Police need your help locating a missing woman in Andover, Vermont. The Rockingham Division of Vermont State Police is looking for 57-year-old Lynn Perry, a resident from the town, who was reported missing last night after midnight, according to her daughter. Her physical appearance is 5'5" tall and around 140 pounds with white hair. Perry was last seen wearing blue pajamas and no shoes. If you or anyone you know has information regarding her whereabouts, you are urged to please contact Vermont State Police at their Rockingham station. That number is 802-875-2112. Well, do you have an eye for historic photos and good identification skills? Hartford, Vermont needs your help, specifically the town hall where the select board meets. A mural comprised of historic photos had been installed in the room recently, and the select board is seeking assistance from Hartford or area residents in identifying the individuals in the photos. The snapshots in the mural are the craftwork of a local artist, Kalimer Abbott, whose piece in the town hall is entitled Life in Hartford During the 1950s. The town manager's office has identified most of the people in the pictures, but some have no identity as of yet. If you recognize any of the individuals in the photo or know someone who would, you are asked to contact the town manager's office at 802-295-9353, or you can email Randy Rule at the address shown below. Well, road work continues this week in Wright River Junction for the replacement of the Interstate 91 bridges for both north and southbound traffic. VTrans tells drivers to expect up to 10-minute delays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day of the week except Sunday on Route 5. Drivers can expect even longer delays for concrete pouring on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, an interesting note is that the construction method for these bridges is an innovative technique called lateral slide, and this is actually the first time it's being used in Vermont. For more information on this project and other projects around the state, including what sort of commuter delays to expect, you can visit vtrans.vermont.gov. And finally, with so many towns in our region benefiting from the hard work of volunteers, not every single town has a full roster of generous residents willing to help out. Claremont, New Hampshire has released a call for volunteers to help out in many various commissions and committees all over the town. The city of Claremont is currently seeking around 40 seats in a handful of different positions, from parks and recreation to library to housing. City officials are offering these opportunities as a chance for residents to take part in the internal operations of their city. Are you interested? Claremont would love to hear from you and any perspectives you may bring to the table. You can contact the Planning and Development Office at 603-504-0341 for more information and an application to get started. Well, coming up next on YCN News, we've got some River Valley Chronicle for you. Elizabeth DeRazio spoke with Maria Daly of Aquilino Arts. Stay tuned to find out what services they offer.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it looks like we may be in the midst of a little heat wave with temperatures exceeding 90 degrees today and similar conditions in store for the next couple days. Temperatures will drop to a reasonable 63 degrees this evening with partly cloudy skies before another mostly sunny day tomorrow with temperatures expected to hit 94 degrees. Things will remain warm tomorrow evening with a low of 71, setting the stages for another warm one on Thursday with temperatures in the upper 80s during the day before falling to a low of around 61 degrees Thursday evening. There's also about a 50% chance for some showers or thunderstorms during the day, so be aware of that if you're planning to be outside. Now let's take a quick look at our community calendar to see what's happening in the area. The Rockingham Free Public Library Summer RPG League or Role Playing Games League will meet tomorrow night from 5 to 9 p.m. at the library on Westminster Street in Bellows Falls, Vermont. The league is free and open to gamers of all levels. Windsor's Concert on the Common series will continue tomorrow night with a performance from Fry Daddy at 6 p.m. on the State Street Commons in Windsor, Vermont. Audience members are encouraged to bring a blanket or a chair, and refreshments are available. The Charlestown VFW Post Hall on Lovers Lane Road will host its weekly bingo night tomorrow with games beginning at 6:30 p.m. Food and soft drinks will be available, and games are the primary fundraiser for scholarships and other community donations. Well, it was a big night at Barnes Park in Claremont last night as the Hanover and Sunapee Babe Ruth baseball teams faced off in a winner-take-all championship game. Sunapee cruised through the double elimination tournament without a loss until it fell to Hanover in Game 1 of the finals on Sunday, setting up a decisive rematch last night for all the marbles. And it was Hanover who struck first in its first at-bat as some aggressive base running to the tune of back-to-back steals set the stages for this RBI groundout that allowed the go-ahead run to sneak in the back door from third. Sunapee starting pitcher Matt Nangeroni got things done from there though, as he retired 4 of the next 5 batters he faced to hold Hanover to just 1 run over the first 2 innings. The Lakers didn't take long to answer their opponent's run, as Andrew Hayes reached base to lead off the bottom of the first thanks to an errant throw, before a walk to Jake Schultz and another walk to Hank Vincent loaded the bases. And without needing to swing the bat, Nick Ducharme drove in the tying run when a pitch off the back allowed Hayes to walk home from third to make it a 1-1 game. Sunapee took the lead an inning later when a single from Hayes put a runner on for Schultz, and Schultz didn't disappoint, crushing a Hanover offering well over the head of the nearest outfielder for an RBI stand-up triple. Schultz crossed the plate himself moments later when Vincent singled to left field drove in what proved to be Sunapee's third and final run of the game. Unfortunately for the Lakers, however, some uncharacteristic errors led to the team's demise, as this steal in the top of the third resulted in an errant throw that allowed a pair of runs to cross the plate and knock the score up at 3-3. And Hanover only piled it on from there, crossing the plate 10 more times over the next 3 innings to clinch a 13-3 victory and a junior Babe Ruth title. And at the professional level, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats finally put an end to its 5-game losing streak last night with an 8-6 victory over the Harrisburg Senators. The teams will square off for the middle game of the 3-game series tonight at 7 down in Manchester. That's been your look at local sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks, Mike. Yesterday, we introduced to you the first part of this week's Capital Connection series. Tonight, John O'Connor continues his discussion with New Hampshire Senator David Pierce for part 2. That's coming up, so stay with us.
The YCN News continues in a moment.